Okay, so reading through this so far is nothing of importance. Yes, they tell us how the game is going, but I have some things I want to say. Reading this PvP stuff makes me wonder if they're actually doing something, you know, to the sandbox. They said we're gonna get, you know, the sandbox changes and what we're actually getting over the next few weeks because the season hasn't dropped yet. There's only 3 weeks left of the season, soon to be 2. And so far, the Vex map is whatever. There's going to be multiple places to fall off if this is a picture of the map. As you can see, there's just literal void space right there. And I'm not too sure if I'm going to like that. Because if someone's going to be sitting camping there, floating up here, whatever it's going to be really, really awful. Now, the map looks cool because there's a wall there and I can do whatever the fuck I want. But my problem is, you know, the meta, not the maps. And they talked about here how they have to, you know, use a lot of effort to, you know, bring in, you know, old maps that used to be in the game. So they work well in, you know, the new sandbox and the new playstyles of players. But here's the thing about Meltdown. The map hasn't changed at all. It's literally the same map as we had. There's no new barriers, nothing, whatever. People can get so far out of the map. It's actually unbelievable. You can get all the way back in, you know, the background of the fucking map. So I just don't understand. If it takes so much to, you know, import new maps to the latest version of Destiny 2, why did nothing change about Meltdown? There's no new changes there. The zones is the same place. They added 3 zones, or they added 2 new zones for, you know, domination, whatever it's called. And I just don't think it's a necessary change. Like, sure, if they add all the old maps, there's gonna be so much Sun content in the game. If we can get map voting, that would also be a great addition to the game, but they haven't said anything about that. I think that would be a more, you know, healthy change where if they choose to hire a few more people, I know they're a studio, so they can't always make that change, but if they decide to hire more people for the PvP side of the sandbox, and the PvP side of the community, then maybe it's going to be easier for them to work on stuff like this instead of saying we have to lay off people who work on PvE content, like the seasonal content that no one plays, or maybe, you know, the exotic missions or the secret missions they want to add that we still haven't really gotten. If the way they're adding secret missions now, the way we're gonna have it, I don't really fuck with it. I don't really care. And like the new changes they're adding makes me more and more uninterested in the PvE side of the game. If they want me as a PvP player now, I can call myself, to play PvE more, they need to bring something that encourages me to play. A way for me to farm for world drop weapons. A way for me to farm for, you know, all the weapons that we can't get anymore. I want to be able to, you know, go and get spare ration whenever I can't get it anymore, instead of me having to wait for the gunsmith to sell it. See, do they talk about it here? Vanguard, Gambit, armor rewards, they're saying they're bringing us less. A long time ago, we shared our plan to address concerns on reward balance. Players have pointed out we didn't release the new armor set for the ritual playlist, aka Crucible, Gambit, and Vanguard, with Lightfall as previously called out our yearly release schedule. Delivering ritual armor sets at rates that we have past has become increasingly challenging, especially concerning these sets have historical and had very low adoption by players as both base armor and cosmetic ornaments. Yes, because see, if you're going to talk base armor, there's just no reason to use them at all because they're useless. They drop 56 rolls. I'm not going to use that in a power crept environment as we are now. There's just no reason for me to even think about saving them. And if they looked good, like really good, I would use them. If you spent less time into the sets of Eververse and more time into, you know, the vendor armor, I would actually decide to use them and consider even equipping it. You remember year 1. The sets from year 1 is loved upon. Everyone likes them. We want them back. The ornament sets that we had back in the day from season 2, 3. We want those sets back for Gambit, no, Gambit wasn't in me. From, you know, Iron Banner, Crucible, and, you know, Trials of the Nine and all of that stuff. We want them back, but we're not getting them back, and it doesn't seem like they're even thinking about giving us all the things they removed from us back. Because when I play Destiny, I think of, you know, this. Back in the day when I could have much enjoyment playing Gambit and actually enjoying the game as it was. But as more and more things come out, it seems like they lay more people off Destiny with less and less experience and bring all the people with much more experience onto their other titles they're working on. Of course, Bungie is a studio that needs to work on other games and they want to, you know, let go of Destiny as a whole. That's what they're going to do. If things work out with Marathon and if things work out with their other titles, they will not have to rely on Destiny as heavily as they have to. It's the same thing with Halo. They were happy whenever they didn't have to work on Halo anymore because it was a stressful environment with a competitive scene that they, you know, they started to dislike more and more. And it's starting to get to the same rate on Destiny. People are not enjoying it because of how the community is taking their feedback. And, you know, when all your work comes through, people will not be too happy about it whenever, you know, it doesn't work out. And for Bungie to be able to make sure that all these things happen, they have to make sure that they're giving the people what they want. Whether that's old content that we're never seeing again. I don't think it's that much effort. Sure, I might be wrong. I might be completely wrong. And if any Bungie devs watch my video, please out me if I'm wrong. I would love to talk to you in any way so I can understand more where you guys are coming from. But the way things are going now, it doesn't look like you guys are ever going to be adding any of the old things back. Like, I enjoyed farming forges for a Tatar's Gaze. I enjoyed farming the menagerie for Beloved and for Beloved and all the weapons that were in the pool. I enjoyed doing that because it felt like, at least with the menagerie and the forges, that I knew what I was gonna get. Instead of having to sit here, open engrams from Banshee over and over again, and wish that I get 1 in 130 drops, the weapon I want, and on top of that I need to wish that I get the rolls that I want. I don't want to sit there and rely on Banshee to sell everything, log on every week, check him and log out. It's just no fun. It's boring, it's repetitive, and, you know, if I could go and do, you know, lost sectors, patrols, or whatever the fuck you want me to do, I'll go and do so. If it has a chance for me to, you know, specific lost sector rewards me a specific weapon, like, you remember how people used to farm the bosses for Dust Rock Blues back in the day because the boss that, you know, was in the lost sector had a really high chance of dropping a Dust Rock Blues. I would go and do that because it gave me a reason to farm for him. I don't care if it's dumb boring. I don't care because it was fast and, you know, I got rewarded for what I was after. Or me having to go into a Nightfall to farm for, you know, Mindbender because I knew what I was getting and I knew exactly what it could do. I have the expectations I want, and whenever you guys bring back old weapons like Beloved, Austringer, and all of those, I was so happy. I thought, finally, Bungie's listening to us. The menagerie wasn't miserable to go and farm for because I knew exactly what I was getting. I could sit there for hours at a time, just opening chest, doing whatever, and I felt like I got rewarded. And then the season after, they completely forgot about it, went back to their old ways, and they kept going down a worse and worse spiral. Now we're in Season of the Deep. I had high expectations for, you know, when Spare Ration came back and all the weapons from Season of the Drifter. But I came with much of disappointment because, right, they're not craftable. I have to sit there, open engrams for a waste of time. None of the weapons have any good meta perks. Sure, you have Spare Ration with slide opening, but it's just outcompeted by every single Hankin in the game. And I just think it's disappointing. Bungie knows exactly how to balance their sandbox. They know exactly how to make weapons good. They're not dumb, they're not stupid, they're doing it on purpose for me to sit there and farm more for things that I'm never gonna get rewarded for. It's why they add so many cool, unique weapons to the world drop, but I can never get them. What if you added every single unsunset gun that was no longer farmable into, you know, a repeatable and slightly exciting way of farming them? You remember the card you gave us for the Menagerie, where you had the runes that you got over just from playing the game, whatever it was, and then you could use those runes to focus in for, you know, a Beloved with certain rolls. You had like a 1 in 4 chance of getting, you know, exactly what you were after, and you could continue on farming until you had a 5 out of 5 roll. Yeah, you guys just don't give us that option anymore. I bet you, if you guys really wanted to and really wanted to invest time into it, you guys could take a season where you guys barely gave us anything, and then the season after you guys gave us all the old PvP maps, reworked for everything that the PvP sandbox has to offer, most of the raids that we used to have in the game, and you could reprice almost every single weapon that we used to have that's sunset nowadays. Because sunsetting was the dumbest thing you guys ever did. It took away so much playability from the game we have now and called Destiny. Beyond Light was the worst update you guys ever did for many obvious reasons. The sandbox felt awful. PvP felt slower. I don't know what you did, but the lighting changes, not the biggest fan that you guys did back in Beyond Light. Whatever engine updates you guys did, I wasn't the biggest fan. The game felt alright. Stasis was a miserable experience. And, you know, with 30th anniversary, I thought you guys were actually listening to us with the abilities. And then the season right after, you just broke everything 10 times worse with Void 3.0. Season after, when we got Solar 3.0, it wasn't the season after, but you get my point. And then we got Arc 3.0, and all of it just came back to it that you guys did not understand how to balance a sandbox. For PvE, I think the new abilities are way too overtuned. It makes everything 10 times more easier. I can easily do GMs without any issue. It's not the biggest challenge, even with the long strikes that you call battlegrounds. And even though they're supposed to be harder than, you know, what we're used to, I still think the hardest ever time we had with any GM was Corrupted back in the day. In Season 11, you guys brought out Corrupted, and that was so hard. You were struggling, you didn't have too many abilities that could instantly save you and be an instant, win key. But now we do have that. We have so much abilities, so much dumb stuff, so much overtuned bullshit, and it shouldn't be that hard. There's a lot of people giving you very, very helpful and insightful information for what most people want. And for PvP, I want a completely separate sandbox. I think you guys should definitely invest money and time into the PvP scene more, hire some more people to actually be able to work with these things, understand the community a lot more and better, and be a lot more vocal like you guys used to be about the game. Because I feel like ever since people started really hating with death threats because people didn't like the way it was going, and of course I don't support that, I think you guys just stopped talking back to us. I felt like it was more of now it's no longer people we talk to, it's now a company we talk to that don't take a lot of feedback back to us. Because please, I want this game to live on. I want to be able to play Destiny every single day and think this game is awesome. But every single day I play, I think there's less and less players to interest, there's less and less players to actually keep, and for new lights, it's just no reason to even stay in the game. Please, Bungie, I really hope you guys are very carefully thinking about your next moves, because it will matter so much more than you think. People are tired of getting less and less content every single season. People are tired of the seasonal system you guys set up ever since Shadowkeep came out. People are tired of logging on every single reset with nothing to do. Forsaken was an amazing time, an amazing period, and it showed really what you guys are capable of doing. And I still think there is that possibility to happen again. I have hope, I have spirit. Even after all these years, it might be self-delusion, it might be whatever. But I think Destiny has the greatest potential for PvP, at least, out of every game out there. That's why so many people who hate the game, who think the game is miserable, stick with you. Even if they don't sound happy about how the game is, even if they don't talk nice about how they feel about the game, they stick around for a reason. And if you guys keep taking all those people for granted, there will be no more players to stick around. Also, replace Showdown with Countdown now. No, okay. Let me go into the changes I want to see. For comp, I want to try to go more for a 4v4 base game mode. Trials should be 3v3 with zones. I want to see some barricade nerfs for whatever reason, whether that's, you know, the health of the barricade, time you can get barricades, and don't get resistance when you actually use a barricade. Void overshields are really, really oppressive. Shoulder charge are one of the strongest melees in the game because it lets you win any melee fight. It tracks you from infinite miles. I don't think SMGs are that broken. I think you more need to look into scouts and pulse rifles. Even though they don't have that high of a use rate compared to SMGs, I still think those weapons, if people pick up on the meta right, people will start abusing the living shit out of it. I think you guys need to reverse AE as a whole. Let people be able to do crazy snipes again. It was what made things entertaining, fun. It gave more of a, you know, a skill factor to the set. If I had the skill and the capability to jump up in the air, do a 360, snipe a super out of, you know, his super in the air while going at Mach 10 with my stompies, I think I am a better player than the other player because my aim is on point, my movement is on point, and I don't think only limiting the possibility to go in the air should be limited to warlocks. I think hunters and titans need that possibility as well, whether that is with them using fighting lions and floating in the air, or whether that's with stompies and jumping all around the place. I don't think it should be limited to one class, and on top of that, it's only solar. I think a lot of the things that you guys have done is for very obvious reasons. It's for, you know, the people who don't take the game as much as serious as other players want to enjoy the game more. And I think it's a bad overall experience for everyone else, because if you were going to limit the possibilities of the good players, then you're also going to limit, in the end of the day, the possibility for bad players. Because I used to be very bad at the game, then I actually decided to play PvP and, you know, improve myself, and look where I am today. I'm now a PvP YouTuber who actually gets some attention from the community. Even though I might not be the greatest player, I still get attention for some reason. And it's because people enjoy what I do and what I make. And it gets harder every single day when, you know, it's such a one-sided meta with Titans being the best, No Time being the best gun in the game, box breathing scout rifles having an outlandish TTK with no, you know, no fall off whatsoever. You don't get punished for using pulse rifles and scout. You get punished for using handkins and, you know, trying to do a lot of things that you can't do anymore. The sandbox is miserable to play in as a good player. You let the worst players take advantage over the dumbest meta we have ever had. And it gets really stale and boring. It doesn't feel like anything is changing, and we just want a different feeling. Because when I think of Destiny, when the time that I enjoyed the game the most, I remember logging onto the game every single day, playing, you know, whatever it might be, from Trials of Osiris to Comp, and enjoying my time, even though I played in probably the most heavy cheater period. I just don't think I will ever feel that feeling ever again with the way the game is going. I enjoy Destiny, and many other people do, and we want to enjoy it even more. So please, Bungie, make it happen. Make us enjoy the game. Give us secrets that we will uncover for ourselves. Give us missions that we will never forget. Give us raids that we'll never forget when the time we did the day one. Because Ron was a miserable experience. And so was VOW. People getting kicked for 30 minutes, and then the people who go worlds first was the people who, you know, had the luck of the servers. It's just not fun, and Ron was a miserable because it was way too easy for what everyone expected. We don't want Last Wish all over again, even though it would be cool to see. It will build up tension. It will build up hype in the community. We want something, you know, like, I don't even know, a 10-hour completion for the first raid. That would be fun. That would be cool and exciting, because then the race is on. With a broken meta, nothing is going to be hard, period. And I also think master raids are a failure as a whole. I think contest mode would be so much more enjoyable to have, period, over master mode. If it was achievement saying complete contest mode instead of completing challenge mode, I think people would look at it as a better experience overall. It brought challenge. It would feel like you had to do a lot of work, team coordination, to be able to do it. Now it's just a joke. Master raids aren't hard. Master and Grandmaster Nightfalls aren't hard. Getting max ranking comp is a joke because of how dumb the meta is. And going flawless in trials just becomes easier and easier every single week with a dumb meta that doesn't reward good players. Anyway, if you like my little talk, sorry for a longer video. I just felt like I had to get this out there. State of the game is horrible, and Bungie needs to really take in what they've said. I don't think we got any feedback whatsoever, but I think you guys need to talk more about our problems and talk more about how things are going to change. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if there's something I missed, something I forgot, please let me know, and I'll see you guys around.